Welcome, class, to Lesson 6-5. Today, strong mathematicians can add and subtract mixed numbers with like denominators. So we went with fractions. Hopefully you had a good feel and understanding for that. Now we move on to adding mixed numbers and subtracting with like denominators. Take out your pencil, your notebook, your paper, write down today's lesson, the date, and let's get started. What is a mixed number? Oh, we already had this before. It consists of a whole number and a fraction. What's a fraction greater than 1? Said it has a numerator greater than its denominator. So those terms of the vocabulary you keep stressing because as you see them, if you understand what they mean and know what they represent, it's easier to do and answer word problems and other problems, concepts. And here we go, straightforward. We're going to dive right in. This is like our baby steps. We're going to tread water to some simple problems. 8/5 plus 9/5. Notice those are two fractions that are greater than 1. We like to also say, if it's a case like this one, so we add them together. 17/5. Remember, our denominator does not change. Or, this is the part where I like to see you practice your converting from fractions greater than 1 to mixed numbers. Or, if you remember, 5 divided by 17 would be 3 with a remainder of 2/5. So I'd like to see you write both if you can. If the answer is a fraction greater than 1, I'd like you to see to write the answer both as a fraction greater than 1 and as a mixed number as good practice. 9/7 minus 4/7. So notice my 7s stay the same. Denominators don't change. That's the size of the piece. 9 minus 4 would give us 5/7. Like those right there. And I see another subtraction problem. So I have 7/3 minus 2/3. Well, 7/3 minus 2/3 would give me 5/3. Well, 5/3 is still a fraction greater than 1. Or, well, I would take 1. 5 divided by 3 is 1 with a remainder of 2/3. And there where I know I can practice that skill as well. I like that. So it's kind of fun to do that. Here we go. We have 14/8 plus 5/8. We know that our eighths stay the eighth. We don't add the denominator. There's a size. 14 pieces plus 5 pieces would give us 19 pieces. And as a quick review, as we go back, 8 divided by 19, if you're not sure how I got those other ones, you're taking your denominator divided by how many numerator pieces you have. I get 2, 16, with a remainder of 3. So 2 is how many full groups I get. 3 is what's left over. And the size is 8. So 19/8 or 2 3/8. You can pause the video right now, write down that information to help you with those practice problems. Use them as a guide, especially focusing on both the answer, a fraction greater than 1, and a mixed number, if your answer allows it. And now we're going right into it. We're going add or subtract mixed numbers with like denominators. I'm going to throw out a couple different strategies for you to work on to help you out. At least for one of them. So with the first one, I always say if you see an addition problem, then I like to do these two parts. One, I like to first off add the whole numbers. 4 plus 5 is 9. And then I like to add the numerators. 3 plus 4 is 7 ninths. I don't have to do anything because that's a mixed number, and the numerator on this one is smaller than the denominator. There's no fraction greater than 1 that I have to work on. So I'll move right to the next one. Here's the subtracting, so make sure I emphasize the symbol, subtraction. So with subtracting, the first thing I have to look at is the numerator. I have 7, and then I have 2. With this being the case, it's a pretty straightforward problem. If I have 7/8, I take away 2/8, I'm left with, not stuck with, 5/8, unless it's like a bad food I don't want to eat. And since that was good, now 9 minus 3 would be 6/8. So if this works out well in a subtraction problem, if the top numerator is bigger than the bottom numerator, it's a pretty straightforward problem of subtracting the fractions, subtracting the whole numbers, and then having your mixed number as your answer. So now we're going to another addition problem. Addition, we know. We can start with the whole numbers or the numerator or the fractions. It doesn't matter. So I go 4/7 plus 6/7 gives me 10/7, which should be a clue that I'm going to have to change this number when I'm done. And then 6 plus 7 is 13. 13/7. So I have 13 and 10/7. Now since this has a fraction greater than 1, I can't leave it like this. So I need to go or. So with this one, I can only have 10 pieces left. So I'm going to take 7 away and make one more whole. Which means if I make one more whole, I'm going to have 14. I take 7 pieces away from 10, I'm going to be left with 3. So 13 and 10/7 is equal to, or 14 and 3/7, those would be the same answer. So that is that problem right here there. All right, here we go. This is probably the trickiest one, so put on your thinking cap, and we're going to take this on because we can do this. So notice now the numerator right here is smaller than the numerator down here. So that means we can't just subtract 3 minus 8 because we don't have 8. We only have 3 of them. So this turns out to be a ungrouping problem like we've done in subtraction before. The only thing that gets a little different is that we are ungrouping not tens anymore because we're ungrouping whatever the denominator is. So I'm going to show you both ways, another way to solve this as well. So 8/3 minus 2 and 8/9. Well, if we're going to use the ungrouping method, what we're going to do is we're going to take this one, we're going to change by 8 and make it a 7. Now, normally we would add 10 because we work our system, American system is a base 10 system. But in fraction world, it's a little different. In fraction world, it's always different because it's dependent on what your denominator is. So this means 9. So if I trade in a whole, I'm going to get 9 more pieces. So I have to add 3 plus 9. So 8 and 3/9 is equal to 7 and 12/9. Now my numerator is bigger. I'm just going to rewrite the problem over here. Now my numerator is bigger on the top than it is on the bottom number. So now I can do my subtraction. 12 minus 8 is 4. The 9ths stay the same because that's the size of the piece. 7 minus 2 is 5. So I have 5 and 4/9 is the answer. If I'm not sure that I did the work correctly, remember we can use inverse operation to add these two numbers together, and these two numbers should equal the top number. If we've done that, then we know we've done the problem correctly. So I know we're really good at adding fractions, so make sure you go back and add, just check your work as a safety net, especially when you have to ungroup fractions, or really at any subtraction problem is a great way to double check your work. So that is one way of doing it. I'm going to add another screen in here quickly, and I'm going to show that same problem again, but there's another way that you can possibly solve it. So that problem would be 8 and 3/9. So 8 and 3/9 minus, oh, that's the wrong way. How about this way? 2 and 8/9. There we go. 2 and 8/9. Another way to solve this one is a little maybe another step, but if the other one kind of seems really weird of how to ungroup because it's not a stable 10, it's a different number all the time. Here's another way you can do it. You can turn both into fractions greater than 1, subtract, and then turn it to a mixed number when you're finished. So if I do this one, 8 and 3/9 equals 75/9. Why? Because 9 times 8 is 72, plus the 3 gives us the 75/9. Minus, well, I do the same thing for the bottom number. 9 times 2 is 18, plus 8 is 26/9. Now I can subtract 75 minus 26. And that's going to give me, we got to go 6 here. This turns into a 15. This makes that a 9. 6 minus 2 is 4. So this will give me an answer of 49/9. Now we know that's a fraction that's greater than 1, so we would have to find it a mixed number. Or, so 9 divided by 49 goes into there 5, 45, 4, the remainder of 4. So I'd have or 5 and 4/9. And hopefully if I go back, that matches the 5 and 4/9 I had originally when I did it this way. So this shows you that both methods work. It's what method feels the best for you. So I would pause the video. I really watch that last probably 2-minute segment to really understand how do you subtract mixed numbers when the top number's numerator is not bigger than the bottom number's numerator. And see what strategy works best for you and try some of those out when it's your turn to solve those problems, which you'll see very shortly. So there's that friendly reminder if you need to pause this video and write this one down as well to help you out as the other method of subtraction. And here we go. So it said compare each pair of mixed numbers using greater than or less than. Then subtract the lesser mixed number from the greater mixed number. So we have more practice of doing this one. So we look at these numbers. We look at 12ths and 12ths, the fraction. But the first thing we need to do is look at the whole number. If the whole number I have 11 and 8, well, clearly would I rather have $11 or $8? I'd rather have $11. So then the fraction really is not that important if our whole numbers are different. So with that, we know 11 is bigger than 8. So that means now, that's the first part. Then subtract the lesser mixed number from the greater mixed number. So I have 11 and 3/12 minus 8 and 7/12. So here we go. I've created that situation again where the number on the numerator on top is smaller than the numerator on the bottom. So I can do those two strategies. I could use the finding the fraction greater than 1, but I'm going to keep working on the ungrouping strategy because we're kind of used to ungrouping in our subtraction to this point. So I know that I need some more numerator pieces. So I'm going to trade this in and make this into a 10. Now, how many pieces do I add? I'm going to add in the number of pieces that my denominator is because each whole is worth 12 pieces. So I have 3 plus 12, which will then give me 15. Now I can subtract these. 15 minus 7 is 8. My denominator stays the same, 12. And then 10 minus 2 is 2. So the difference between 8 and 7 twelfths and 11 and 3 twelfths is 2 and 8 twelfths. So you can write that down, give that a shot. I'll try this next one. It looks a little straightforward. I think you can handle it. You probably could have handled the last one, but I felt a little concerned, so I thought I'd walk you through that. But I know you got this one. So what's bigger, 6 and 3/8 or 15 and 7/8? Well, hopefully you're looking at the whole numbers because you paused this video and you answered them out. And you know that 15 and 7/8 is greater than 6 and 3/8. And remember the symbols like the alligator always eats a bigger portion because it's hungry too. And 15 and 7/8 minus 6 and 3/8. Numerator is bigger on top than the bottom. Yes, so we can go. So 4/8. 15 minus 6 gives us 9. So there you go, a couple more problems for you to work on. So make sure you pause the video right now, jot down these examples, jot down all the work that goes with them so you can really use this as an example when it comes to solving your problems. Because it is time. It is your turn right now, so draw a big line on your paper, label it box 3, now your turn. And I want you to add or subtract the following problems that are on this page. We have 7/6 plus 8/6 equals, and write out the entire problem, not just the answer, because I want to see what the problem is to get the answer that you got. 8/3 minus 6/3, 9/5 minus 1/5, and 23/9 plus 8/9. Remember, if there is a fraction greater than 1 as your answer, we like to see you turn that into a mixed number for good practice. And it kind of makes more sense when you talk about things. I don't call Pizza Hut and say I want 16/8 pizzas because they look at me like, what are you talking about? And there's a whole bunch of them as well. Subtraction and addition problems. Take your time, do your best, write out the entire problem, and good luck. And last but not least, comparing the numbers and then subtracting the ones that are different to see what you can get is another way to practice and compare all within one step. So pause the video, write them down. Good luck. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to write them down or share them out. Also, if you have any strategies that help you be successful, feel free to share those as well. And thank you again for another great lesson.